So before starting with the library NumPy, in general, the library NumPy, when you want to call it, in order to use it, it's a library. It's a very important library. Every time you need to do calculations or anything, or mathematical operations or linear algebra operations, you need to call this matrix. And even other matrices, other libraries, they are built on NumPy library. Okay, there are other libraries, but like Panda, etc. But this one, NumPy, it's specific to linear algebra, to matricial and mathematical calculation. So even before this, before starting with the library NumPy, so imagine you want to build a matrix 3 lines by 3 columns. For example, the same matrix that we have in the assignment. In reality, you should do the following. You should build a list. In general, we know the list, for example, 3, 10, 20. In a list, you can put non-numerical values. Okay, in a list in general, this is the, the base. And I can add a string here. For example, hello. Okay, this is in general a list. But since we will work with numerical values, if you have an NP array, it's forbidden to do this. So later on, because you can define your array, or your matrix, let's call it array, NP array, as a list and convert it. This is very interesting to do it in many cases. So imagine I have this. I can, this is a list like this. This is the list. Okay, this is a list of one line, and you have 3 columns. Okay, so if you run it, A, this is your A. Okay, this is your these are the elements of A. Okay, you have different methods to look at what's happening inside A. You can sort, you can clear, you can copy. We talked about this in lists. If you look back to, you can look also to the length of A. So he will give you that the length of A is equal to 3. Okay. We can imagine now. I would like to build a matrix 3 by 3. I will come, for example, to this, and I would add. I would say that these are my elements. So many people do it like this. They put an enter, but even if you don't put an enter, it doesn't change anything. It's only aesthetic. It's only aesthetic. Okay? And you can put them in one list. It's comprehensible that the first element is a list, the second element is a list made of 3 elements, the third is also. So it's up to you. We can, I can define also something like this, something like 0, for example, and -1, 1.2, and 3. Okay, and I should close this. Okay, now you can present your matrix A this way, or if you want, you can put it like this, just to appear more similar to a matrix. If you run it, okay. So this is your matrix. Now, now if you want to access to any element of this matrix, for example, the element number with the value 1.2, what is its index according to you? 2 is it's the second element number. If you want to access to 1.2 here, in reality, this 1.2, you will find it in the third sublist. Okay, you can put it like this, by the way. just to understand. In reality, what you have one element, a second element, a third element. Bro, but this, every element is a list. So it is in the number 0, number 1, number 2, okay? And it is in the first. We start with 0 always in C programming language, in C++, in Java, and Python, since he inherited this from the C. So we start from there. In MATLAB, no, we think like mathematics. In MATLAB, it's a matrix laboratory. All the behavior, all the notation is like in math. It's easier. In Python, you need to deal with this. And you have to keep in mind when you deal with matrices, with lists, you start counting from 0. Yani, if you have a dimension or length of 3, you start counting 0, 1, 2. So, and we can try it. By the way, what is easy here is that you can try. If you have a list, since I'm not saying the word matrix, it's a list. I can define my list like this, and it works, no problem. This is not a matrix. This is a list made of 3 elements. The first element is a list with 3 elements with 3 real value. The second one is with 2 real values, and the third one is I can put 5 here. One will tell me why you did put this. This is a list of a list. Okay, you can do it like this. Now, if you have an NP array, you can do this. So we can try to verify it later on. You have some special situation where you can. So this is my vector A. And now if you want to access, for example, to the 1.2, look, from the moment you write, for example, we are talking about lists now. We didn't start talking about NP array. So if you do here, for example, 0, A0, enter. What is A0? The first element, the first sublist. اللي هي ايش؟ 3, 10, 20. Okay. So if I would like to access to this, the element here, my target is the 1.2. It is in the number third one. So in the counting is number 2 and -1. So if you run like this, you obtain -1, 1.2, and 3. Now, if I would like to access to the 1.2, this is the element number 0, this is the element number 1, this is element number 2. So I need to add here 1. Okay? And like this, I access to the element in the third sublist, the element with the numero 1. Because here it's 0, 1, 2. So the -1 here, you will put 0. Okay? Good. Jamil. The problem, you can also do the following. You can come and write, for example, so A20 is equal to, you can overwrite the value of A2. So it's equal to -1. You can put it equal to 22. In this case, if you type A now, it is equal to 22. So you can override the value. Now you can't manipulate all this by block. There are some special methods. You need to do a loop for all the sublists and for all the elements in the sublists. If you want to do يعني مثلا أنا أبغى أضرب يعني لو أخذت A ضربتها في 2 وش حيصير عندي؟ ايش سوى؟ حتى بجنب بعض هذه مو نفسها اللي we saw this in the concatenation. If you have a string and you do concatenation, list concatenation. This is the concatenation. In reality, it's a concatenation. So It's not like we want to do a mathematical concatenation. If you want to multiply the elements here by 2, you need to do a double for loop. You need to do this. You can do this, but you need to do maybe something like this. For example, work with lists that you should scroll by dimension and do for loops. And if you do these for loops, there's a problem in reality because it takes a lot of time to execute this. This is a 3 by 3 matrix or a list of a list made of 3 elements. But if it is a big matrix coming from, for example, a structural problem for fluid mechanics problem, it's more bigger. It's a huge matrix, so you don't have this luxury to do it like this. I don't need to do this multiplication. This is only to explain. I would like to modify my calculation. Instead of working with the list, this list, I would import a library called Numpy. And since you will manipulate the word Numpy, it's a bit we need something short. So in general, they import it as NP. If you look to any software on the net, we'll find always that the library in Numpy is called as NP. So we call this library, and we can, if you call it, if you run this this import, now you can use the NP library to make your modifications, or I can write that P can define a matrix P that as an NP dot, and you will find a list of things, a range, okay, or anything. But I would like to do use the array. So I would like to transform the matrix A to an array. So I would take that like this. This is one way. So if you run it, B in this case is an array, and it is seen like this. القديم موجودة A موجود. اي اللي انا شلت انا. اي لا شلت. اي شلت. I removed the multiplication by 2, شلت. So this is your array. If you have this array, if you want to do any manipulation on a matrix B, minimum, maximum, inverse of a matrix, a trace of a matrix, you can use these elements. So what I put here is this. By the way, I can define directly instead of doing all this stuff. I can from the beginning, instead of doing this, I will copy and come here. I import my library, okay, and I define A as an NP dot array, and directly I put this between parentheses. And when you do this, you are not defining a list, you define directly A as an array. So if you run this, okay, so you can print A here, for example, okay. Now this is your, I don't need to put this, okay. Now this is your A, okay. So you look, you are able to change the value of A to 0. There is no problem for this. It has been changed to 22. But you are dealing now with an array. So you can do anything you want. You can calculate the trace, you can calculate the inverse, you you can solve linear system. So this is what is needed here. So now you just, I would like you to work with this. So define this matrix, replace AZ02 by 0 in your script, calculate NP max of A. It's like this, NP dot max of A, okay? NP dot max A axis 0, NP max of A axis 1. Try to do similarly for the minimum and the maximum and the sum. For the determinant, you need to access to not directly NP dot the function. For the determinant or for the inverse, you will use, I will comment it here for you. I will comment it. In reality, if you want to calculate the determinant or anything, you need to go to NP dot, there's a module called linear algebra, okay? And in this linear algebra, you will find a lot of things. You will find what? The Cholesky decomposition. I think you have seen this in mathematics, the Cholesky decomposition of a matrix. The condition of a matrix, how to, the determinant, the A, the eigenvalues, the eigenvectors, the inverse, okay? And you will find other modules, the power of a matrix, the multiplicative dot, a norm of a matrix, PM, and there's a lot of singular value decomposition, etc. So all these are tools. This is the linear algebra if you want to use the determinant. So I would like to, maybe I can put this here, and I'm gonna do a screenshot print. Normally, so I put you this in the Google Classroom. You can put it in your desktop. Now normally you should import. طبعا أول شيء لازم تسوي زي ما قلنا إحنا، تيجي على الكوماند لاين CMD، تسوي pip install Numpy. When you do this, so if you have the last version, هيقول لك you have the last version, everything is okay for you. If you don't have the library in your desktop, so normally the pip will go and download the library. نفس الشيء بالنسبة للmatplotlib for the graphics, for the curves. If you want to draw a curve, نفس الشيء pip install matplotlib. Okay, and you click. So if you have the requirement, like me, for example, the requirements are satisfied, everything, you should have that the requirements are already satisfied. تمام? So I can print A. Okay, this is A. تمام? This is my matrix. I can say, for example, A dot dimension, for example. بيقول لك it's a 2 by 2. It's a dimension 2 لأنها matrix. عند lines وcolumns. لو كانت tensor or 3 هيكتب لك 3. If you take this A, if you take the same A وتقول له A ضارب 2 أو print أو B equal to A ضارب 2, print B, you have this directly. بينما لما تكون list لا you don't have this. ايش الماتريكس اللي عندي؟ مليني الماتريكس 2 5 7 3 1 4 2 5 1. في حقيقة الأمر يعني احنا كنا ممكن نعرف list وبعدين نقول array of this list. ماشي. ايش السؤال الأول؟ this create a list. اوكي بعدين replace A02 with 0. يعني A02 ايش هي؟ A02 يعني في الاليمنت نمبر 0 هذا الدايمنشن اول لاين، لانه يمشي لاين وبعدين داخله A02 يعني 7 هذه حتحولها بصفر صح؟ اوكي خلينا هون نحط print A وبعدين اجي هنا احط A02 equal 0 صح؟ اوكي this is the matrix originally صح ولا لا؟ استنى I need to run it. Hey, I need to run it. So عندنا A02 equal 0 بس اوكي أيوه. start run اوكي تمام. اي لانه انا سويت برنت الاي ها وانا سويت برنت مره ثانيه حتتغير لانه انا اظهرت هنا ايش اظهرت؟ البرنت هذه فقط. لو اظهرها الان حتظهر تتغير صح ولا لا؟ A02 هذه A02. الان ايش مطلوب؟ execute np max of a. خلينا نجربها np max of a. اذا حسميها انا max 1. max 1 هي max 1 تساوي np dot max of a ها run او print max 1 5. اوكي ليش؟ لانه انت اصلا الماتريكس صارت عندك هذه صح ولا لا؟ في هذه الحاله ايش حيكون الماكس في هذا all these elements 5 ماشي. لو انا ما شلت السبعه هذه لاني انا غيرت A02 خليني اغير A01 احطه صفر كده. I'm gonna start here تك 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 يعني غيرت هذا الاليمنت A01 حطيته هو الصفر. لو calculate the max now 7 اوكي we are dealing with matrices ماشي. خلينا ناخذ الاوبريشن اللي بعد np max a access يساوي صفر. هذا حسميه max 2 تمام max 2 if you run it معايا يا شباب ولا لا؟ if you run it ايش تحصل؟ ها؟ ايش سوينا الان؟ access 0 ايش سوينا؟ ايش صار فعليا؟ اخذنا كده على الدايمنشن 0 هي اللاين يعني الدايمنشن رقم صفر. انت يبقى تعمل اللوب تبعك على الاليمنت هذا ايش الماكس اللي فيه؟ عفوا دايمنشن 0 يعني بتشوف كده 2 3 2 ايش الماكس فيه؟ 3 0 1 5 ايش الماكس فيها؟ 5 7 1 4 1 الماكس 7. This is dimension 0 ماشي. لو اخذنا الماكس 3 عشان كده قلت لكم 5 دقائق هذا على الاكسس 1 and you run this ايش عندك؟ 7 4 5 سلام خلاص